Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. James Hicks here from Hicks New Media and Infotainment News. Tonight, we're going to spend some time with Mr. Joseph Swift. Joseph Swift is the co founder of Our World Media, an online cultural publication and production house. He has just launched a new venture called Tech Talk with Swift. We're going to find out what that's all about and what his goals and plans are for the new year. Since he's a live streamer and content creator as well, we're definitely going to dive into some best practices for presenting and engaging with audiences and find out just what this man has been doing for the past few years. Sit back, enjoy. Let's get into it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Swift is in the building. How you living?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm good. How you doing, James?
All right. Man, we just trying to do what we can. Right, it's been a busy day in all
Yeah,
kind of
see,
aspects. That's probably the understatement of the year already. It's been a busy
very
day.
much so.
But how you doing, man? You hanging in there? You doing all right?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show. Thank you.
Oh, man, definitely. Look, let me tell you something. You reached out to me and said you were doing a new venture, Tech Talk with Swift. I said, okay, I like the
Yes.
sound of that. I like the sound of that. Let me get this man on camera and first dive into it, get to know a little bit about him and your background and from an entrepreneur business perspective. And then we both are content creators. I see you in
Yep.
some of the various communities talking about StreamYard, Ecamm, some of the hardware, some of the software, things like that. So we've got like interest. So why not have a conversation?
Definitely, definitely.
I tell you what, man, I gave the 3 second pitch, but give everyone kind of the elevator pitch of from you exactly who Joe Swift is.
Wow, it's a lot. It's hard to sum it up that quick. Well, Joe Swift, I'm a technology guy and a sports guy. I started in tech about '98. My mother got us, the family, the first computer. That's where it started. Like I always tell, like that was the best Christmas gift you ever got me was the computer. It opened up my mind. Like it changed everything. Because before that, I was not into computers. Like '98, that's like the starting point where I got into technology, and it just grew from there. So like life, I relate life back to that era, '98, '99 with computers, like, so everything is based on that. And like, oh, I remember in 2000 AOL and stuff like that. So I'm a tech guy. I'm also, well, I used to be a track runner. I wish I still was. That's a whole other story. But sports, that's like another field that I'm in, especially track and field. Like I've been running track since I was in first grade. And like track is a huge part of my life, track and technology. And after college, I got into music as a DJ, and that's really where everything combined together. Technology, music, and DJing, all that is connected. So my background is tech, sports, and music.
I love it, man. You well rounded, brother. I mean, you know how to do the work-life balance thing, right? You can sit behind a computer and make some things happen, and then you mentioned I got a lot of buddies that run track. What was your special?
The 100 meters. 100 meters. Well, 100 and 200. That was my thing for
Okay,
the
give me some
outdoor
numbers, brother.
season.
Give me some numbers.
They're horrible looking back.
Oh, give
I
me some
thought they were
numbers,
good.
brother.
At the 100, my best was 10.8.
Okay.
That was like the all-time best. Like only hit it like once or twice. 200 wasn't that good. It was like 24, like 20, yeah, 24. Like I think the fastest was like 23.9, but average more
Okay.
like 24. back then I thought that was good. I thought that was
You
good
was
for me.
moving
But
in. You was.
yeah,
Was
but
this high school or college?
high school and college combined, those were my times. Unfortunately, I didn't drop down to like 22 seconds or 21 in the two. I also ran the 55 indoor, 55-60. The 55 for high school indoor, my fastest time was 6.85. I just missed it by 0.5 of a second to qualify for the New York City indoor champs as a freshman.
Man.
Never got faster than that in the 55, unfortunately. That was my fastest time ever.
That's all right.
6.85.
That's all right. No, those are decent and respectful numbers, though. So that's pretty cool. And you were talking some old school technology. Did I hear you
Yeah.
say AOL?
AOL, yeah.
So you got mail,
the-
that kind of stuff, brother.
Yeah, with the floppy disk when they used to mail it to your house, the floppy disk.
See, the youngsters don't know. They don't respect that. They don't respect the 5 1/4s and the 3 1/2s nowadays.
Yeah.
Those are when computing was fun, right? When you literally could break everything. Now, you can rebuild it, but man, you could
Correct.
tear up some stuff back then.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about One World Media.
Our World.
I'm sorry. Our World Media. In terms of what that really entails. I was looking at it from the website perspective in terms of the online publication and production house, and I noticed you got a lot of different aspects built into that. So kind of give us a story about that, because I'm personally quite intrigued about it myself.
Okay, yes. Well, Our World started 6 years ago, in April 2014. It started as a project that, it was actually a joke. My mother was saying to me she's going to help me get into media, because even to this day, been having trouble getting a job in the field. With all the credentials I have and education, it was just difficult to get a job. Like, people would hire me, individual people, but not actual companies like Best Buy, Apple, all those companies. This, for whatever reason, never got hired. So her idea was to come up with this. It wasn't even a magazine at the time. It was just, I don't know what it was. It was going to be called Ghetto Fabulous. And she was like, I'm going to take pictures, and she'll go around the community interviewing people on their hairstyles and this, the way they're acting. And it turned into what you see there by involving other people from our old community and some family. And it actually was a physical magazine. But we were new to it, not understanding that magazines cost so much money to get printed. So that was a whole nother challenge to get it actually printed, which we did print a few of them. I think 4 issues, because it was a quarterly magazine. And I didn't know anything about magazines in terms of design or writing. So we had George Honora, who's a co-founder of Our World Media. And he helped write a lot of articles, so did friends. And that's how it really got started. So I learned Adobe InDesign in 2014 from scratch.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about magazines in terms of designing it, so I had to learn that real quick. Very frustrating, but I got them, printed and, designed. So I had to do the magazine and take pictures as well. And 6 years later, it's more now of a podcast that we do. My mother does a weekly show called Our World, Our Power, on Saturdays from 4 to 5. It used to be at a studio, but because of what's going on, we had to take it remote. So it's been a podcast / radio show since 2019. It was at a station. So that's the main focus now, more of a podcast / radio show than actual magazine. And I'm happy for that, because this is easier for both of us and the whole team.
Yeah, I would say probably from a distribution perspective, right? Because everyone is either consuming content on their phone, their tablet, whatever media device, right? And instead of printing physical copies of the magazine or the publication, stay consistent, current with all of the information online, and you can obviously post at midnight, as opposed to having to wait for a printing press to actually come out with
Correct.
a copy. So this is the way to go. I love this, man.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult to try to get it out at the time. Even though it was a quarterly magazine, I was saying to myself, well, it's not that difficult in terms of time turnaround, because other publications do it weekly or monthly. I was like, well, it's quarterly. And most of the time we missed the deadline it took so much work to get people to write, because I had to reach out to friends and just people online to help write articles. And I'm not really, I mean, I could write, but that's not my heart and passion, writing. So it was very challenging. And the content that I wanted specifically was more sports and entertainment. That's more what I covered. So it was like everybody was all over the place. We were new. We was trying to find out, find what we're doing. And it was just, for me, it was kind of like a nightmare, but it helped me grow to where I'm at now. I learned so much about media, the business side of it, the legal side, all through, Our World Media.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about some of those, because again, in the intro, I was talking about maybe we dive into maybe some best practices and just the whole getting the content, publishing the content, getting the interviews, or where so that operational piece, right? I know the hustle and the struggle around just getting some of the stuff behind the scenes, but then to actually get that front-facing, customer-facing deliverable out there. Talk to us a little bit about, again, a day in the life of you or the other folks on the team of what that entails. And now in 2020 and 2021, how has it changed? Because again, the world has made a complete 180-degree turn.
Well, in the past 6 years, I mean, it's gotten so much easier to, like, the barrier of entry has dropped. Like, it's so easy to get in. But in terms of me doing the whole magazine for Our World, I had to find out what size font to use. I never thought about what size is the font in the magazine, what type of font they use. When I printed the first issue, the text was too large. I thought on the computer it looked good. When I put it in the actual magazine, it was too large, and it was bleeding off into, they call it the gutter. When you open up the magazine, you have to like fully open. I was like, oh man, yeah. So all that was a challenge. I'm also a graphic designer, so every article I did, I wanted to have a life, like the way your show has a color scheme and everything. I had to think of that for every article. So if the interview had a fashion designer or model, I wanted the colors to be a certain way versus an athlete that we interviewed. So like each page or each interview was like its own separate project, and it took a very long time. It was extremely frustrating. I enjoyed it, actually seeing it, in our hands. But in the price, like it was like $25 per print. I was like, how am I going to make money if I have to, how can I sell it? And I was reaching out to many people to help me, and they was like, yeah, you could get it for $5, $4 a print, but you have to print like 10,000 copies. I'm doing the math. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have nowhere near that type of money.
You asking for this money day one? I'm just starting out, but that's pretty telling for you to say about the process, right? So the fact that the process was so challenging, it's not for everyone. A lot of folks want to do something like what you built. But if you don't understand the process, and if you don't embrace all of that hard work behind the scenes, I mean, like you say, you're down to the point of font sizes, 10-point font versus 8-point font. No one thinks about it to that minutia piece. And that's why the business isn't for everyone. And we applaud the folks that are actually out there getting it in and getting it done. For you to have that longevity that you've had and for it to continue to still be thriving, that's kudos to you and Mom.
Thank you.
And the whole team.
Yeah.
Sure. Now I understand that you also know your way around your DSLR camera too. You know how to take some photos.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about that.
Okay, the photo business, it started as a hobby. I've been taking pictures since about 2000, and I never considered myself a photographer. I always used to walk around with those little point and shoot cameras like the Olympus, the Sonys, all those different brands, and took pictures in school of like people on my track team, pictures on campus, just of friends. I wasn't like going to events. It was really when I got into DJing where it took off. Like after my DJ set, I had nothing to do. Like it was just stand around, and I was like, I have to take pictures of these parties, the women, just the environment, So my little point and shoot camera, it wasn't doing the same thing. I was like, how come the picture's so dark? It's grainy. The quality is bad. So I asked a photographer that I knew. I was like, how do you get your pictures like that? He was like, oh, you got to buy a professional camera. He was like, you need a DSLR. And I was like, what's that? I didn't know anything about cameras other than you press the button and take a picture.
Yeah.
So I think it was maybe 2009. 2008, 9. When tax season came, I bought a Sony camera at Best Buy. I forgot the model, and that changed my life. I was like, the quality is so much better, but the pictures were still dark. And I asked the guy again. I was like, "How come they're still dark?" He was like, "Well, you need a flash." So I went to B&H. I got a flash. I didn't know what I was doing. It was for like a couple months. It was confusing. I'm in a club, and I was never really a party person. It was the love of the music that really took me to parties. So by me having the camera, that like kept me, calm, because I hate crowds to this day. I don't like crowds, and I'm always in crowds. So the camera, like, it was like my friend. Like, we was like partners, and it just grew from there. I went from not knowing anything about cameras to learning about shutter speed, f-stops, all that, and it was over time to where it got to what you're showing now. Thank you for showing it. It took many years. I'm still learning. There's so much I'm trying to learn. I look at other people that I know. I'm like, oh man, how do you get your pictures like this? You know,
I got
but
a, I
it
got a
grew.
couple of folks that are probably watching that I've interviewed as well, who are semi-professional and or professional photographers. I'm a Sony man too. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Okay,
I've been rocking with Sony for a minute. I've had them all. I've had Canon, I've
okay,
had Nikon,
me too.
but see, I'm a mirrorless guy, so I'm all about the
Yeah,
mirrorless.
that changed the game.
Yeah, I'm loving the eclectic. Uh, the diversity in the collection here too, right? You got music, you got sports, you've got
Mm,
some run models on the runway, that kind of thing. Um, Really
yeah, it
liking this
shows.
because, and I appreciate it a lot because I worked for Clear Channel Entertainment for a number of years, for geez, probably a decade as well. So I was at a number of those shows that were here on the West Coast,
Mhm.
providing security and event staff for
Oh,
the
okay.
principal, whoever was on stage, right? So I was the one escorting you in to that front barricade to actually take your pictures. You got 3 minutes to take pictures, and I got to escort you out, that kind of thing. So I
Mm,
understand that whole environment of where you are and the fact that you can't use a flash when you're at those concerts, when you're
yes,
taking pictures
yes.
of someone on stage. So, and these are some high quality images here, man. Look at that.
Thank
I
you.
mean, this is what's up right here. So,
Come a long way.
and and this is off of this is the SmugMug site. So are these photos for sale as well? So if I clicked in, are you actually selling these photos,
Yeah,
or is it just
they're for
your
sale. I don't have it set up in that aspect where I make a profit. Like, you could
yeah.
purchase it, but it'll be like a few cents, but I don't get any commission. I did have that set up at a point, but then I wasn't making any money. It was just like another bill to pay for that feature. And I
Yeah.
had it, like, I took it off, I put it back on because some people said, "Oh, I'm gonna buy them," and some did. But then I was like, well, after a couple months, it wasn't making any money. I was like, let me turn it off. But at some point, I would like it where that could be its own, thing where I make money off of that,
You
as
you
well.
got it. You got the skill, man. And again, you can tell just in the photos that you got it here. The bokeh is right on some of them, so you're using some quality glass. You got the quality body with the Sony, so I'm impressed. I like what you're
Thank you.
doing, and hopefully you turn that switch back on to where you start collecting some revenue off of your work, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we can have some in person
Yeah, I was just gonna
concerts,
say that. I
music again.
can't do any sporting or entertainment events right now.
Man,
Not on that level.
I'm supposed to be at a John Legend concert with my wife, in a couple of weeks, but that's not happening. So, those kinds of things are yeah. Get that shot in the arm,
Mm.
folks. I don't want to
Yeah.
get political, but you know what? Get that shot in the arm so I can go out to see my man John Legend.
Hmm. True. True.
So, our world media, online publication, killing it out there. I mean, you got quality content going out, culture focused, looks like. So I like the
Yes.
fact that it's out there getting a different perspective on things that are going on in the world today. I'm going to bounce back to that right quick, and then we'll
Okay.
go into some other things. But so talk to me again about, I guess, how that aspect is, right? Getting that content out, especially there's some tumultuous times happening right now, and
Mm.
getting folks to talk open-mindedly about what's going on in the world, irregardless of where you sit, left, center, or right, or whatever the case may be, U.S. based, overseas based. Are you having challenges getting folks to speak about issues of the heart like that, or are you finding yourself more covering kind of mainstream news, but putting more of a cultural spin on it?
It's no challenge at all getting people to speak because my mother, she loves talking. So for Our World Media, when it comes to the show, it's her and her co-partner, Glenn Greenidge. So together, their show is like awesome. Like it's the content that's brought up, the information, it's more stuff that you probably won't hear on the news. It allows you and the guests to communicate after the show. People exchange numbers and email addresses. It's a more of informative and information that you get that will help you grow in whatever field that you're in. So we have people that come on the show from all different political sides, all different financial levels, from the starting out to people who been doing it for many years. We interview like Jesse Jackson to teachers, all different people walks of life. So the show, it's very, and unfortunately since the pandemic, or fortunately, however you want to put it, we have been able to interview people that we wouldn't normally been able to interview because most of the people we interview were in Queens, New York. So if you weren't in Queens, we couldn't interview you. But now we could do it through Zoom, StreamYard, all those services. So that has grown. And I was telling my mother, it is called Our World. It's not this, New York, Queens. So, and we don't have to pay for rent in terms of a station, but it's a lot of work.
No brainer right there. There it is right there, right?
But I understand where she comes from. She still wants to interact with people, which I do too. But I love this online thing, like the way we're talking. If it wasn't for this, I don't think I would ever, seen you or speak to you.
That's true, right? And so hopefully, and I got the Spotify site up right now. I will make sure that in the context of the show, I'll put all of the links that we talked about today, so folks can see that. But yeah, that's a good pivot, right? I mean, we really started communicating online in some of the live streaming forums, talking around Ecamm and talking around some of those types of things. Again, you're in New York, I'm in California. How do we engage? How do we interact? We find a kind of a common bond. And I think you hear a lot of negative stuff about social and media and online computing and things like that. But there is that sense now that I think communities are growing, right? And again, that's one of the, kind of like you just said right now, it's either a good thing or a bad thing about the pandemic, but folks really got a chance to pause and find out what was most important. So you actually reached out to your friends and your family and your coworkers and checked in on them just a little bit more when you were sheltering in place, when you couldn't go anywhere.
That's true.
When you might as well text somebody and check in, how you doing? And then you want to communicate with folks and you want to kind of continue to have a community and have engagement. So a lot of us have started really focusing in on our live stream activities, focusing in on our activism and things of that nature. So that talks about what you're getting ready to get into next. See how I made that pivot there?
Yeah, I do.
From live streaming into, let's talk about Tech Talk with Swift. What is it that you're looking to do with that new venture you got coming out?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I can tell you what it's allowing me to do is be on camera because I'm not usually on camera. People that know me know I'm behind the scenes. But since all this has been going on, my phone has been ringing, text messages as well, emails on how to do live streaming, how to set up like what we're doing now. So it's random phone calls from people I don't know, friends, family, churches. So it got to me where I'm like, well, I could put this online somehow. And my family and friends was like, yeah, you should go online, do a show, talk to people. I'm like, nah, I'm not going to be on camera. That's not what I do. Why would I ever go on camera for?
I'll set it up, but someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So I seen some of your content and a few other people, and I was like, maybe I should join in somehow because I watch you guys. I was like, how can I be a part of it? And I tried it. It was just, it was an idea a few weeks ago, literally maybe about a month ago. And I was like, well, I put it together for other people. I could do it for myself. And I started Tech Talk with Swift. I did one episode with Kurt Nugent.
Yeah, saw that. That was nice.
Hopefully, I pronounced his last name right. 'Cause last time I messed up. Sorry if I got it wrong. So yeah, he was my first person that I interviewed, and I believe the show went well. I
Yeah.
designed the layouts in Photoshop, and it's gonna be. Well, I think it's gonna be a show like what we're talking about now, talking about tech, a little bit of life. You know, how has technology changed your life? How how does it affected it? You know, in all different aspects. Basically, the same thing I talk to people on the phone about. It's just that it's being recorded. You know, as a show. That's what
And
it is.
you can repurpose it, right? And you
Yes.
can, because yeah, folks are watching on online live. You know, I mean, I've got screens looking over here. I got metrics, so the YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I got well, people are watching it from all various locations, but
Mhm.
it's that replay and that regeneration. That's when folks are really going to watch it, right? They're going to be sitting in the bathroom tomorrow morning with their phone in front of them and maybe watching perspectives and
Correct.
focus one on one with
Yeah.
those. So again, it'll continue to live after you record it. It's all about the content. And yeah,
Yeah.
that first show that you did with Mr. Nugent was nice.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank you.
great conversation. In terms of kind of topics, right? Are you going to kind of focus on consumer electronics? Are you going to focus on kind of the technology, like I was saying, live streaming, mobile technology? Because we talked a little bit about old school mobile devices, cell phones, pagers, and
Mhm.
beepers. We go back. Both with you.
I think that would be in it as well. But
Okay. Okay.
as of now, I feel more comfortable talking about live streaming, like the software, what hardware, cameras, stuff like that. I don't know if I'll be doing reviews. There's already a lot of people doing that. I'll see where it goes because the way I see my life, like when people ask me, "Oh, what are you gonna do in 5 years, 10 years?" I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I wish I did. I think my life would have been easier, but like with photography, if you said to me 15 years ago, "I'm gonna be a photographer," I said, "No, never," because I
Yeah.
wasn't into it on this level. It just little by little it grew. Then I see myself in Hollywood on a red carpet. I'm like, "Oh, I am a photographer." So I honestly I don't know where it's gonna take me, but I'll say I'll start with live streaming because that's what everyone's calling me about, and I'm doing so much research on that right now. Like even my job, they ask me to use vMix, so
Okay.
I'm learning that as well. So really more live streaming right now, but we'll see because life is changing, so it won't always be about live streaming and stuff like that. But I'll start off in that area with cameras, live stream, with equipment. Also do web design, so it may branch off into that as well.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because you mentioned Photoshop, Illustrator, and you've mentioned some tools that those are no joke, right? You gotta know what you're doing if you're gonna mention those and start building
Yeah,
graphics and
still
assets,
frustrating.
things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, true. Yeah. Um, now, would you be doing more teaching with that? So teaching folks how to use Photoshop, or actually building assets for folks and maybe like charging them? I'm just kind of wondering where your mindset, your trajectory is for this new year.
That is a goal to turn it probably somehow into an educational piece where I'm training people either one on one or a group where I'm getting paid for my services because the past couple of months the phone has just been ringing and it's like, here we go again. I need to get paid for this.
Right, that's a good problem to have. Hey, get your work,
Yeah.
get your money, right? I always tell folks, even like with apps, right? I don't mind a free app. I'll take a free app once in a while, but if you don't have a monetization strategy, and I tell this to startup companies and app developers all the time, I don't see if you don't have a monetization plan, I'm not going to really see you in the distant future. I will pay for good work. I will
Mhm.
pay for an app that doesn't have a whole bunch of ads and it has full top premium pro functionality, and don't make me don't give me something for free and then kind of cripple the experience. But
Yes.
if it's going to do what it needs to do, something like Filmatic Pro on the iPhone, right, which really does a lot of stuff with video content, allowing me to do uh, both front and back cameras. I'll pay $15 for an application that gives me that kind of functionality
Yeah, it's
pro.
worth it.
You get what you pay for with a lot of things in life, and Get your money, man. Get those contracts together and make sure folks start paying you your due for the work and the time that you put in. For sure.
Yeah, because this stuff ain't free. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
Headphones, mics.
Well, let me see. You're talking about that. So I'm seeing the camera, and we've talked camera. I can tell right now you got a nice camera going right now because you got the blur in the back. Which camera are you rocking right now? That's not just a regular webcam.
It's an iPhone. No, I'm just playing.
No, it could be though. Hey, you know what? It could be an iPhone in portrait mode.
Yeah. It's the Sony A7 III.
Okay, so you got there. You see, there we go, right?
With the 85 1.8.
So how far from you is that? Because if you got an 85 on it, that's
it's about, let's say, 6 feet away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at getting the Sigma 16 for my A64.
Yes.
Right,
I see everybody online using those. I was like, I want the A66 because it has the stabilization and a few other, and the Z battery, because I don't want to just use it as a webcam. Whenever we're able to go out, I want to use it as a full photography camera. Cause I was thinking about the 6100, but it doesn't have all the features that I want. And this A7S III is kind of out of my price range for right now. I mean, I could get it, but I can't do that to myself right now.
You got to justify it, right? I know. You want something to eat? You want food on the table, or you want
exactly either food or a camera?
Those are the things. Those are the conversations that you have with yourself, in the middle of the night. Man, I sure do want that camera, but that stomach.
I had it in my shopping cart many times. It's like, nah, I can't do this. Oh, yes, I could. Wait, no, I do have the money. No, don't bother.
Brother, they know me by first name at Best Buy. Mm-hmm. I was talking to one brother. I think someone, I forgot his name, that we met on the campsite. And I said, yeah, man, they know me by first name basis at my local Best Buy. I walk in there and they're like, what's going on, James? Let me point you over here. I know where you're going. So.
Yeah, okay. I do that.
So that's the camera. So let's stay on that a little bit. So camera, from a lighting perspective, you got some decent lighting too. I mean, I could tell. So how do you got it going right now? You got 3, 1. How's your lighting going right now? What are you using? Anything
I have one light in front of me. The brand is Young Nuo. Those off brands, Young Nuo light.
Yeah, okay. No, I've heard of them though. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's one of those that I bought a few years ago, and it does the job for what I'm doing. It's not the best, definitely ain't the worst, but it does the job. So I'm using one of those. I have it in an umbrella, like a 43-inch umbrella. Yeah. So, the light's not too harsh, and that's right behind the camera. So that's like 6 feet away, Yeah. I would show you through the phone, but I don't want to do that setup now because I don't know if it's going to work. I will show you
But you actually said something that I hope folks are listening to when you said it. I'm going to repeat it. You don't have to spend a ton of money to get an effective setup and an effective environment, right? Yeah. Everyone wants to go out there and get the whole Elgato light scene, right? They're $130 a pop. Mm. You don't need to do that, right? You don't need to do that. All you need is the right balance in terms of light. For all of the infrastructure, right? For the microphone, for the lighting, for the camera, you want to get quality gear, but man, if you're not ready to put in kind of those kind of dollars to that echelon of gear, there is high quality stuff that you can still get at a much more
price definitely.
And don't. And I try to tell folks, don't have that imposter syndrome, don't have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. No, you don't have to have all that name brand Philips Hue and nice.
It's tempting.
Don't get it good. It's nice, but you give what you pay for. But sometimes you should hold off. You should definitely.
Definitely. It's tempting. I mean, for me, as I get older, what I'm learning is balance in life with everything. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to technology, I don't want to go out and get the highest end thing. Well, most of the time I can't afford it anyway, so I can't get it. And I don't want to get the cheapest, so I try to find somewhere in the middle. And sometimes what I learn, and I'm into technology and computers. If I go out and get the highest end thing, do I even need it? Do I know how to use it? Am I using it to its full potential? I'm probably wasting my time and money. So a lot of people ask me, "Oh, should I get this?" I'm like, "You could, but do you need a camera that takes pictures at 16 frames a second?" you know,
When are you going out there and taking photos? Well, you might, but so this is me talking to everyone else. When are you going out there and taking pictures of someone running in the track meet or a horse running that fast that you
yeah,
need 16 frames per second? No, you out there taking pictures of your kid at the park playing soccer. You you have no need for that high frames per second.
correct. Can I tell you a story real quick?
Definitely, brother.
All right, I was at a NYC dance parade. I think it was in 2013, 2014. So we're in the park and all these people are dancing. And this lady, two people come up to me. First, this lady comes up to me with, I forgot what camera it was, like the highest end Canon at the time. I had the Canon 60D at the time. And I'm like, she has like a $6,000 camera. She comes up to me. She's like, and she sees me taking pictures on the low angle and shooting up and all that. And she was like, how do you get the pictures not to be blurry? I'm like, wait a minute. You have a $6,000 camera with a 24 to 70 2.8. You're asking me? I should be asking you. So I'm explaining to her how the shutter speed works and everything. And there's a guy listening in, and he comes over to me with his camera. He has a Nikon, the high-end one as well. And he's asking me similar question. I'm like, wait a minute. You people have the best equipment. You're asking me, and I have a 60D?
Man, see, they go out to Fry's and Best Buy and Micro Center and say, "Give me
Yeah.
that." I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. But you just gonna shoot in auto, or you gonna put it in manual? And everyone's a photographer. There's a T-shirt that says everyone's a photographer until you put it in manual, right?
Yeah.
That's when you know what's really going on. That's when you know
That's
what's
a
really
whole
going on.
different ball game.
For real.
Definitely.
Let me ask. There was another site of yours or a promotion that I saw that you had, and it was Black
I have a
Spectrum at
few
Home.
sites. Yeah, they're one of our sponsors for our world, Black
Okay.
Spectrum Theater. It's a New
Okay.
York City, Queens, New York theater company.
Okay. I didn't know if that was something that, again, that was part of the new Tech Talk or what, but I saw that and I was pretty interested because
Mm.
I think I saw that on your Instagram or something of that nature. Right on. Okay.
Yeah, one of the sponsors to keep the lights on.
Man, hey, you got to do it, right? You got to do it. So in terms of back to the Tech Talk,
Mm.
have you kind of built out your agenda, your schedule, or kind of what you're going to be focusing on this month, this next couple of weeks, or whatever the case may be, in terms of who's going to be on your show, kind of what topics?
Not at all. All this is brand new. I'm learning. I'm watching you and watching Kurt. A whole bunch of people. Like I'm just like trying to map it out.
Well,
That's what I was thinking to myself about scheduling because I went back to work this week. I was like, how am I gonna, what time am I going to do the show? Because for me, being I do our world, I don't want it to be random, and it has to have a time frame so people can tune in. I don't want to just put it up a random Tuesday, Wednesday night, or whenever. It has to have some type of flow. Who am I
yeah,
interviewing? What's the topics? So I'm planning that out, and by you interviewing me and talking to me, so it's like training, like practice, allowing me to, better my skills, be in front of the camera and know better how to present myself. So
love
it's
it. Hey,
still
I
planning
tell
it
you
out.
what. I tell you what, we got so CES. We were talking backstage before we went online. CES starts next week.
Oh yeah.
Me and some of the folks on my team are going virtually, going again this year. We've been going for the past 10 years, and look, if you need something to do, we could put you on the agenda because
Okay.
press day is always insane. And so let me look at my calendar right now for CES press day. It
All
starts
right.
for me at 4 a.m. with Hisense. Uh,
4 a.m. Wow.
yeah, and I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna try to get someone else for that one. But so I got Hisense, LG, Samsung, Philips. Then I'm going to Canon. That one day is full. Then the
Mhm.
next day, whole bunch of virtual sessions, keynotes, and things like that. Sony, the smart home, stuff like that. next week, all from the 11th to the 14th, CES is again going to be that time where we hear about what's going to come out to the micro centers and the Best Buys and to the consumers in the next 1 to 2 years for holiday season. So if you're looking for something to do
Okay.
to keep you moving, I could definitely forward you some of these emails because we're going to do something different this year. Right, we're actually, me and my colleague Corey Tallboy Sanders are going to be doing a show. We do a show called The Lab, and we're going to do on Wednesday the 13th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, where we're going to actually invite a lot of the vendors and manufacturers from CES to come in 5-10 minutes, give their pitch about whatever it is.
That's great.
Their newest gadget, right? So we got a handful of folks already dialed in, but folks want to hear about this because again, a lot of folks look at us, and not just me. Look at you, look at Corey, look at a lot of folks who are online providing this information as subject matter experts and kind of trusted advisors, right?
Mm.
What do you recommend for a camera? What do you recommend for the next wearable device?
Can we actually use it? Yeah.
Exactly, right. And we'll give unbiased reviews of it, right? I'll tell you if your microphone is terrible, right? Like you probably, I've gone through a ton of microphones, but hey, this Shure MV7 is where it's at. I don't plan on getting rid of it. This Canon ZV-1 that I'm using right now, I love it, but I got that 6400, and I'm gonna put that 16 millimeter lens on it, and do both, have kind of a both angles. But I think folks would like to hear that from someone that they trust, right, as opposed to just some old talking head on wherever. Not talking negatively about anything or anything, but we've got our own communities as well. So
true. Yeah.
Your community would love to hear from you in terms of recommending particular products and particular services, and that's kind of the idea. So we'll stay in touch with that, and I think there could be some synergy with the lab and what you're doing with TikTok with Swift. So
that'll be great. Yeah.
Look at that. You didn't know you were gonna get action items when you
No.
when you came on the show, did you? Next,
You get a camera. You get a camera.
So you about to get some emails in about 30
You
minutes.
get an email.
Yeah. Your schedule is gonna be blowing up. Or your calendar is gonna be blowing up. I love it, man. I love it.
That's good when it comes to technology. That's where I'm at.
You mentioned. Let me ask from a technology perspective, your preference. We talked a couple of things. Then you said vMix, so I assume you're a PC guy by choice.
I use both. I started with PC from '98 to about 2009, and at that time, all the DJs that I knew, everyone had a Mac. That was like the thing, MacBook, and I kept hearing so much good reviews about Mac, Macintosh and Apple and everything. And at the time, Windows was like so bad. I was like, I gotta get rid of Windows. I had to switch over, and I stayed with Mac until 2019. And what happened was, my 2011 MacBook Pro, I had two of them, but the first one, it just stopped working. It had a good run, it did the job, and also had an iMac as well. But the MacBook Pro, it stopped working, and I was getting into video editing, and it wasn't able to do what I needed. Okay. So I was looking into PCs, and I was like, I don't really want to get a PC. But at the time, Apple wasn't doing its thing. Like, they had a lot of keyboard issues with the MacBook Pro. Yep. You couldn't upgrade it, and I didn't have the money. And I was like, well, the PC, Windows 10, I heard good things about it. You can upgrade a lot of the laptops and the desktops. So I got a Dell XPS, and I used that for work because the job required a PC. So I was like, I want something similar to the MacBook Pro in the PC world, and I heard good things about the Dell XPS. I liked the design, I love the design. So I got that. Then a few months later, I saved up some money and I got a custom computer built at Micro Center because I didn't want to build it myself, even though I could. I was like, I don't have time anymore for that. Here's the money, here's what I would need, do video editing, build it. And within 24 hours, computer was built, and I was using that. But I love both. I rather Mac, but there's sometimes certain things I'm like, I can't use the Mac. But I'm a Mac guy, but I use both. But I rather Apple products.
and you'll make those recommendations. Yeah, I'm trying to sell you on here on the live
Thank
stream,
you.
brothers, and you'll make those recommendations to the folks, I guess, that talk to you again in your technology conversation, in your
Mm.
tech talk. That can see, man, I'm not. This is free marketing, brother. You
Thank
better
you.
take
Thank
these
you. I
blessings.
need it.
You better take these blessings for. Awesome. Uh, what else you got going on, man? I'm
What else?
enjoying this conversation. I just, but I love hearing the fact that you are so well um, rounded in activities, right? So not just publishing, not just sports, not
Mm.
just photography, but then you throw in DJing as well, right? Look, I
Yeah.
used to have my Techniques 1200s back in the day.
Okay.
I know a little something about the techniques and the insonique. Watch out now. I can we can talk about that on
Taking it
another
back.
show. But I told you, you see all this sulking
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
beard.
I'm getting some of it.
I've been around for a minute, but how do you balance all of that? Right. Again, you've got so many different aspects of your life going on, and that kind of
Mm.
brings in to why I had you on Perspectives and Focus as opposed to one of the other shows, because
Okay.
I want to talk more about the person and what drives and what makes up the person. So you got so many activities going. How do you balance that and still maintain some sanity, maintain kind of some direction in life?
Well, right now I'm going crazy, but everything is over like a 22-year period, so it's not like within the past couple of weeks or months. It's like I'm 39, so it's like from 18, 19 up to now. It didn't
Yeah.
happen like overnight, as people say. Literally, it's over years and lots of work, lots of mistakes, lots of mistakes. Over and over and over, trial and error, just learning. Then it's like a puzzle piece, like putting pieces together. So wait a minute, I could connect my DJ equipment to the computer, then connect the camera to this, and it comes together. Because when I started, I looked at other people. I was like, "You doing Photoshop, InDesign?" I didn't even know what those programs were. I'm like, "What is all these? What do you need this for this? Like, what's Photoshop? What's this?" So it's over like a 22, 23 year period. Right now, in the past like year and a half, 2 years, I've been more just trying to focus, narrow it down, because for me personally, I know I can't do it on the level that I want to by focusing on everything. I can't do web design, photography, graphic design, be a DJ. And thus the way my life has been going, I see how certain stuff gets put to the side. Maybe not because I want it to be put to the side, just the way my life is turning out. Like with the DJ thing, I realized that I love the music, but I'm not really a MC. That's not really me, but I love the music, and I leave the DJing to my DJ friends. I let them do that part, because they still call me. They need me to fix their website. They need me to help them set up a camera. So I'm still in the club, or when we was able to go out. I'm still at concerts, but as a photographer. So, and sometimes, like say for a period of 4 months, I'm a web designer. People just call me for websites. Then I'm a photographer strictly at events. But since our world started, I've been focusing more on my brand and trying to build, myself up. And definitely the past like 3 months, I just like lock a lot of people out, because I need to focus on myself. Like, I can't help people if I can't help myself. I have to focus on myself to see where I'm at. And right now I'm in the live streaming broadcasting area. I started as video editing, and with my job, I'm doing a lot more not behind the scenes, but more production of the streaming software and production and setting up mics. So I'm focusing on that, because that's helped me bring in the money. So a lot of my time has been invested in that, online trainings, YouTube videos, this countless hours. I'll sit down and 8, 9 hours go by just watching videos and block out all the negativity that's going on in the world, because there's so much stuff going on. I stay in touch because I have to, but I
Right.
try to focus on stuff to help me grow as a person. you know
That's a good point, man, and I appreciate you saying that, because I'm a firm believer that you're no good to anyone else if you're not good to yourself first. All right.
yeah, it's the truth.
From a mental, spiritual, uh, physical perspective, right? Get up and walk around a little bit, do stuff, those kind of things. Make sure that the body, the mind, and the spirit are fed daily. And again, if you aren't doing that to yourself and for yourself, how you're going to build anything around you positively. So I appreciate you saying that. Definitely one of the things I'm focusing on as well for 2021 is mental health, right?
Yeah, it's very
And
important.
especially among Black men, right? Because
Yeah, that's
we don't
true.
talk about it like we should, and I think it's a critical issue. And again, with just the way that the world is turned on everyone, we're even more secluded. So a lot of times we don't get out and reach out to folks. We men need to learn from women because the
Mm,
women do it the right way, right? They have their groups, they have their conversations. I watch my wife; she's on the Zoom, excuse me, on the Zoom, on the phone, with all her friends, still
yeah,
talking. Me and some of my close partners haven't talked at all in so long, in too long, right? And I think that's a problem that we have really as
yeah, it's a
men,
huge problem.
and we need to get over that selfishness, that pride, unregulated or incorrect pride of not reaching out and having those types of conversations. So kudos
Yeah,
and
good.
shouts out to you on that. Bro.
Thank you. Yeah, it could drive you crazy. So, you know, like I said, balance, mental health, physical health, everything. Like you need some type of balance. Like you can't do technology if you're not healthy. That's what I learned.
That,
Yeah.
that's true because all these ones and zeros, you get a headache if you start to try to you plug in something the wrong way. Next thing you know, you done blew up everything, right? You
True.
wonder why the lights don't come on anymore. Well, you done blew the circuit up there, young man. You just tried to plug in a 220 into a 110. It's not gonna work. It's not.
Yeah.
You can't force this round peg into a square hole kind of
Exactly.
thing.
So yeah, a balance. It's extremely difficult. Like for some people, it's easier. I know for me personally, all this stuff that I do it's difficult. I mean, I don't know how it looks on the outside, but I don't know if some people think, oh, you could do, he does that so easy. I think some people do because they call me, oh, you could just set up a website for me. I'm like, yeah, it's not the setting it up. I'm like, I have to ask you questions. What do you need? That's why I learned a lot of people that don't know certain things in any field, but in technology, they, they were like, oh, let's do this. Like I was doing a photo shoot, and the lady was like, I want you to, my cousin can't be here or something like that. You can just Photoshop them in, right? I'm like, it could be done, but not just like that. I got light. Oh, there's so much to it. I mean, it wouldn't be worth it. Like, can't they just show up?
Like I said, yeah, I'll put them in there, but it's going, it's this quality work is not something that I'm just doing for zero on the invoice, right? It's
Yeah.
going to cost you to,
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Oh, no, never mind.
there you go, right? Yeah, again, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. Um,
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Tell you what, brother, I appreciate you, man. I didn't want to hold you too long, but I just wanted to break bread with you for a second. You you're doing some good stuff. Let me just break it and make it plain that way. I think you're doing some good stuff. I'm humbled and honored that you came onto the show and had some time to have this conversation. Uh, I've been going through Our World, the online magazine, for the past week or so, just looking
Oh,
at
thank
the
you.
quality of content that's out there. Um, I wasn't logged into my Spotify account, but I am a subscriber to the podcast. So I
Okay,
get
cool.
that I get that in my
Appreciate that.
feed for sure. So yeah, I'm definitely supporting it from that perspective, and everything that you're going to do with Tech Talk with Swift. I think that's I commend you for it. So I would love to stay in contact, stay in touch, and see how that goes. I'll be in the audience instigating. I'll be the guy in the comment section,
Mm.
heckling you or something like that, or whatever the case. When you got
I'll have
somebody
you
else.
on my show. I'll
Oh
definitely have
yeah,
you on my show.
appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. But yeah, I mean that I think that's and kind of the pivot that you're talking about doing, right? So not just doing reviews, not just saying I got this new widget here and here's a review of how it works, but actually kind of delving down into the what and the why and the how of it. I think that's a good differentiation for
Hmm.
what we're trying to do. So I look
Correct.
forward to
Yeah.
catching up with that, and I appreciate if I could be on that. That'd be awesome, brother. Um, Real quick, tell the folks how they can get in touch with you again. I'm gonna put the links in the show notes, but I'd like to hear from the man himself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my Instagram is jswift. Well, I have a few of them. JSwift Photos. That's the main one. Also at Our World Media and at Tech Talk with Swift, which is a new one. So there's no content really on there yet. That's building it. But JSwift Photos and at Our World Media, you could find me. On that social media, and the website is ourworldmedia.com and
Okay.
swiftphotos.net. Those are the
Yeah,
two main
excellent.
ones.
And so the J Swift, so the Our World Media and the Tech Talk with Swift, those are two Instagram accounts?
Correct. Yes.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely put them in there so folks can check those out and give you some follows, man. Get them numbers up.
Yeah, I need it. I need the quality people. It's not really so much on the numbers. It's who the people are. Because you can have a million people and nobody, if you don't work with them in any aspect, what's the point of having a million people?
Damn. Man, over here dropping gems on me, boy. Boy, y'all hear this, right, man?
That's the truth. You see it. But it does look nice to have those type of numbers.
I love it. Joe, be good to yourself, man. Take care. Stay safe. Stay out of the mayhem. Look out for yourself. Look out for your family. And brother, I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Thank you, James. Yes.
Later, man.
You did the same.